Y'all remember, if y'all have watched any, but I do want to talk about it, and I don't want to talk about it, but here's why. So the person that I was talking to romantically, we're no longer talking romantically again. I know, right? That was fast. But if you've been watching the other videos of mine, you would have seen that coming from a mile away. Right? Very basic rundown on what happened is that this person decided, seemingly again, it felt kind of abrupt again, once again this time, because again, this has happened twice. Oh yeah, you didn't know this has happened twice, where they said they just didn't feel like they were ready for a relationship, and they cut everything off and then they left. Which it's more nuanced than that, but that's the basic idea. And I'm feeling a lot of things. Obviously, because this has happened before, like with the exact same reason, like a year ago, I keep jumping back from anger, happiness, sadness, like confusion, bitch, I have no idea what's going on. Not to mention that they ended everything like 2 weekends ago. No, last weekend. It's just been a week. It's just been a week. They ended everything when I was in a manic episode. I don't know why I do my best thinking in the bath. It's hot as fuck in here. I need to go shower. I need to shower. Because taking a bath, yes, but I need to shower after I bathe because, I've been here for a minute. What's I gonna say? Something sad and depressing, and now I've forgotten it, so good. I'm trying to remember it, though. I don't know why. I don't remember it. It was sad and depressing. Yeah, the person I was dating or whatever, essentially last night told me that, like, they're just here to make sure that, which I guess it's like, what do I expect from them? Like, we broke up. If you can't break up, we separate, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We're done. So it's not like we're gonna be besties and like talk all the time like we used to. Like, that's just like not how it works. So it makes sense that they're not texting me. Logically, I get it. But emotionally, I'm just like, how can you just like stop going like, or how do you stop texting somebody one day and just like, I hate this abandonment trauma shit. Like, if that's such a bit, it's just I don't know. I'm having a hard time processing it because it's like, I texted you every day. I talk to you every single day. And now all of a sudden I just don't talk to you. And the only times that I can talk to you are when like I need something. Like, if I don't need anything, then there's no point in us talking. And that means that like, I understand what that means, y'all. I just like, it feels like they don't give a fuck. Like at all. Because like, they could just stop talking to me, like, and cut me out of their life. Like, I don't know. That's what it feels like. It feels very personal and abandonment like. I'm sitting here and I just realized the first time it ended wasn't because they said that they weren't, well, part of the reason was they said they weren't ready for a relationship, but bitch, the other part of it said that, the main part, like the fucking crucial part was that they said we had different communication styles. So why didn't I bring that up why didn't I bring that up like, hey, how has our communication styles changed? / like, what happened to that? What happened? I don't know, dude. I'm so upset. I'm just spiraling now. I'm really about to lose my shit. As I've probably said 1,000 times, and you're all probably tired of hearing me repeat it, in our situationship, not a relationship, in our situationship, I was having a problem with this person wanting to spend time with me, wanting to call me, in the sense that like they just did not want to do either. Maybe it's not they didn't want to. If I wanted to talk on the phone for 20 minutes after not seeing them for 7 days, it was hard. Ever since they ended things, and I know this because I'm crazy, like obsessive, whatever you want to call it. Not really, but maybe. Point being is that I can kind of tell when they're awake, in the sense that if it hasn't been nights where their location is not at home, because if their location is not at home, then obviously they're out and about doing whatever, but they're not sleeping. But even more so, on top of that, I've noticed them looking at my Instagram story, because you can tell. I see them looking at my Instagram story at hours like midnight, 1 a.m. Looking at it, and I see their face pop up when it shows me that they've seen it at these times. It hasn't been like once or twice. It's been like almost every single day. That combined with the simple fact that obviously I've talked to them in my talk. I mean, like we've said it and exchanged a few words before they just stopped texting me. I've texted them after midnight. Throughout our entire situationship, I am not exaggerating. Throughout the entire situationship, I promise you, the amounts of times that we talked after midnight, 1 to 2%, because they had told me that they were going to sleep. They had told me that they couldn't talk, they were exhausted, they had to wake up super early the next morning. Upon reflection of this whole thing, I'm thinking, maybe it's them saying they want to go to sleep just means that they're winding down for the day. Just because you say you're going to bed doesn't mean you're actually going to sleep. Maybe I got that confused. Then I think, nope. You literally asked, can we use a different language when we describe what we're about to do? Because you're not going to sleep, you're just winding down for the day. Can we just start using that? Because it confuses me and it would help me and it's not that hard for you to do. Can you just do that? And they said, no. I really am going to sleep. So I'm like, okay, it's 8 p.m. But okay. Wasn't like a one-off type of thing. This was a reoccurring all the time type of thing. So for this person to always be tired, be exhausted from their job, because they do work hard, they do work a lot, they do work more than the average, they do more than the average person does at work. They do more, at least laborious work than I do at my job. So I understand why you'd be tired. But to be so tired all the time that you're constantly sleeping or saying that you're sleeping, not just chilling, sleeping, and that you need to get your sleep in, because obviously sleep is important. But the point is that they can't stop at my place for 2 seconds, just being down the street. They can't see me for 2 seconds. They can't stop by for they can't stop, not stay. They can't do anything around what I'm asking them to do because of this. Now, as soon as the situationship ends, I start seeing that they are up past these hours. So it's in my mind, the paranoia comes down to were they lying about those times? Because no one goes to sleep at 9 p.m. Not at the rate that they do. And were they just ignoring me for those hours? And there's nothing wrong with that per se, in the sense that you can have your evening. But then it comes down to the frequency. You said it so often, and that was your excuse for not being able to talk so often. And when we did talk, it was so short, and I had to force it out of you and beg you just to do it. I'm looking back on it and thinking, did your sleep habits change overnight? Because it's what it seems like. Because now you're awake. You're awake at the fucking midnight. And it's just since when did does that make sense at all? I feel like I've been manipulated into believing their little story. A story that really did not make a whole lot of sense anyway. It's not just now that I'm noticing that they're up past this time. And mind you, the times that I was confused about these things were either because they had told me directly the first time, I can't hang out with you because I want to sleep, and then they went out. Or, that week after I had begged them each time for phone calls, I find them out with friends on a work night too. So I don't want to be that weird, clingy, crazy, toxic person. You're making it seem like you're going above and beyond for a phone call that's pre-midnight, making it so hard for me to get that phone call, yet you're able to go out with friends and be up at 2 a.m. What's going on? I'm not even asking you to come over at 2 a.m., but you're up with friends. It's just I've never gotten that from you. And that's just when it should have clicked right then and there. This person does not prioritize you. You've been asking them to do it for months. And they even acknowledge that you've been asking them to do it. And they just won't do it. Maybe it's because they don't want to do it. Not because of any other bullshit that they say. It's because they don't want to, because they don't value it, they don't care about it, they don't want it. You are a side project. It makes sense now. And the worst part is now that I see them up past midnight, I want to text them and be number one, you didn't respond to my text message that I texted you, and I see that you're up because you looked at my story. You were just friends now, acquaintances, friends, blah, 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 blah. They consider me a good friend. That's another story. We're friends. I'm not gonna come down on them. I can't. It's I would literally be crazy if a friend texted me that, I'd be bitch, I'm gonna get back to you in 1 to 2 business days. unless it was like a best friend. Point being is that that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is that I'm more upset now that I can't bring up the fact that they're up. I want to be like, so now you can stay up past midnight. What happened to your sleep schedule? Like, what is going on? Like, why are you awake? Shouldn't you be in bed? You always used to go to bed when I knew you, like when we were together, like at 8 p.m. The math is not mathing. And honestly, underneath this anger, this specific anger, it's hurt. In that they turned mean, like rude, and like just not the person who I had known them to be. Or at least not the person who I personally had not really experienced this side to them. Just the cold shoulder, the cold emotionalist, lacking emotion, very cold, very just rude. And I want to say nasty, but I don't want to I feel bad for saying that, but like, yeah. And because I'm hypersensitive to these things, it's burned, it's branded in my brain, the things that they have said at these times. Like the first time in June, when I brought to their attention, you went out with friends last night after you told me that you were too tired to do anything, and you knew I was having a bad time. Why didn't you hit me up at least and be like, do you want to come with? I don't know, something, because you knew I was struggling. I had sent them, now granted, I had sent them long ass fucking messages, like a fucking Bible's worth of messages. But within those messages, I saw it as me explaining my feelings, trying to be very clear and very precise, because I'm often not that. They hit me back with what do you think we are? What do you think we're doing here? What do you think this is? Because otherwise I'm not even gonna read these messages, because you're doing you're sending a lot. This is a lot of stuff. It's a lot for me to process. What are you doing? And it was have we not been together? Have we not been talking since November? Have we not been talking for 6 months? For half the year? And for you to be what are we? I know we're not official, but bitch, that is branded in my brain, because I remember feeling so just ow. It was less about the question of what do you think we are? Yes, that hurt, but it was more so what do you think we are? Because otherwise I'm not gonna read these messages. I'm not gonna care about what you're saying. I'm not and what I was saying was my feelings. I don't give a fuck. It's what it felt like. And this happened again this time, in the sense that, and I remember it's branded. They said whatever all of this is, and I can't exactly remember how that part came up, but they were referring, when they said whatever all of this is, they were referring to my text messages once again, of me explaining how I was feeling. And it's you can talk about how long the messages are, you can complain about that, you can say anything else, but why are your words, and I know I'm hypersensitive to it, but why are your words so fucking hurtful? In the sense that whatever all of this is, it makes me feel what I my feelings literally are, that's what you're considering my feelings. And this time I actually did say that. I was whatever all of this is, I'm explaining to you how I feel. And it was just a wall. They just did not, whatever we had beforehand was just out the window. And it seems it's been that way since. And when I say since, I mean the last few weeks. And that I still have expectations for whatever relationship we're trying to hash out. And they just don't, it's just a very cold, they're very cold. And it makes me sad. And also angry, because it's bitch, I'm not why are you being so rude? Unnecessarily. They just weren't nice. Ever since the situationship ended, I'm very confused as to how a week ago we were, at least in words, through text messages, hey babe, how are you doing? Very lovey-dovey, very caring, very very much so clearly we're in a relationship, to this week, not only are we not in a relationship, which is I get it. They're not gonna act the same way. But why does that if zero is the standard for just treating people well, and let's say, I don't know, 100 is the romantic side of things, and let's say 20 or 30, 40, 50, basically it goes up to romance. And the lowest part of it, closer to zero, is more of a friendship. This person has dipped below the zero. Does that make sense? In the sense that they're angry and upset and just kind of not caring, which they can be. Obviously, I'm going to be hurted by that. But it's more so just how do you go from 100 to being super romantic at times to falling below what you would consider friendship-wise? The things that, and I don't want to say them because I don't want to get too, there's not that many things, but the things that have been said to me and the way that this person rephrases, the way that this person phrases their words and the way that they choose their words and the way they say things, a lot of it's my hypersensitivity. But mostly, I've had to check in with my friends and be yo, this is kind of crazy to say to somebody, right? Especially somebody who a week ago you were at 100, so now you're at like -10, -20, and it's like, why are you, like, do you still care about me? Do you want to still talk? Like, why are you saying these things to me? Why are you being so nasty and mean and rude? And I'm not gonna lie, I can be a lot. With my friends, with my romantic relationships, like, bitch, I like to talk my emotions out. I like to clarify things. I like to ask for differences, like, in people's phrasing. I like to, you know, follow up and be like, did you mean this? Did you think this? And like, I get it. It can be a lot. I can be a lot. Sometimes I'm even thinking like, bitch, you're thinking way too much about this. Don't bring it up to these people, because this is the 15th billionth thing you've done. Ask this friend of yours if they hate you. Let it go, and talk to somebody else. Talk to your therapist. I'm trying to understand that. But at least you could say that. Like, that's been said to me. You can just say that very clearly. Like, hey, I feel like you're projecting. I will look at what you said. I'm sorry you feel that way. But maybe you should back off. That's the way I would think a friend would address these things. But no, this person doesn't even acknowledge that, because I know that's what it is. It has to be that. But rather, when I bring something up, they make me seem like I'm fucking nuts and asking for too much and fucking insane. Like, I'm literally just trying to have an emotional conversation with you. Because if we're gonna be friends, and if this friendship's gonna work, we gotta there has to be expectations. Like, what? When we started this whole thing, as in like each time we talked about whether or not this was like moving towards a committed relationship and whether or not they were ready for this, like, that's how the overall theme, or rather the overall subject, was if they're ready for a committed relationship, which, mind you, they always said that. And looking back on it, it's like, why would you differentiate that when there really is no difference, at least in my mind? Clearly, it was just in my mind. What we're doing, like, the only thing that's missing is that title, but we're exclusive. Like, we're dating. It's been more than a year. It's been like, looking back on it, it makes a lot of sense as to why they would want to differentiate that, as this is not a committed relationship, so they wouldn't be held to those standards, or I can't even go into that. But more so, it's like, this was never said expressly or verbatim or whatever. They made it seem as though I have issues. Obviously, I have a lot of fucking issues. And obviously, that's something you need to think about before getting into a relationship. Like, I'm gonna preface all of that. I understand that. I even told them, like, these are some serious things that, you know, when we navigate, when we talk, like bipolar, PTSD, complex trauma, all that bullshit, it's a lot. It's a lot. I get that. But they always brought it to my attention as though, like, I was not working on it. They always would say, like, I'm not taking care of myself. I am not, like, they never said I was crazy. They never said it was my mental illnesses as to why they didn't want to be with me. But they basically gave off the affect that was something that was preventing a relationship. Like, I don't take care of myself and I don't do these things. And in order for us to be in a relationship, I need to do better. Which is like, yes, but looking back on it, it's like, wait a minute. No, I'm doing everything, like, while I might have setbacks from time to time and while I'm not perfect. Even in the time that I've known you, I've gotten significantly better at doing things. My health has significantly improved. And you know this. And I understand that it's a question in the back of your mind. But when they have ended things, that's like nowhere to be found. It's all about them. Like, all of it. It's all about them as to why they want to end it. And nothing about me. But where they always, like, it felt like that was something that was just looming over my head. Like, I need to do better for these things. I don't know. I just feel like my health was something that was not thrown in my face. But it's like, did they ever, and I guess this is something that has happened in my past relationships, but I'm not sure if this person ever did. Like, did this person ever research what complex trauma is? Did this person ever research what bipolar disorder was? Or was I the only person, like, was I the person of their information? Was I the source of their information? Do they know about, like, the medication troubles? And I know it's a balance of both, but, like, did they take the time and did they have the forethought, is that even a word? Did they care enough to look more into it? Like, how can I be helpful to this person? Like, that's just something I feel like they would Google, you know, just like off the bat, like, well, let me understand more about this. I genuinely do not think they understand anything about my mental illnesses besides the fact of, like, what the symptoms do. And I don't really know what the anger is here. It's like, I feel not manipulated, but I just feel like it was always something that was a problem with them, or they had a problem with, which, granted, like, mental illness is serious, I get that. But they would say it and then they would not backtrack, but then it would just become like non-existent. They would say like a headline and not delve into like fixing the problem. Or even like, I have a very specific example. They would say like how I don't bring things to their attention and I don't talk about things, and that like I hold on to things, and that I don't tell them when things need to be fixing. And it's like, no, that's you. You literally do that. You're projecting onto me because I tell you things I want fixed. I literally, this whole situationship has been me trying to tell you what I feel and what I feel is going wrong, and you not listening. I don't hide things. I used to, and I would act passive aggressive, and I still do at times. But 80% of the time now, you can't get me to shut up about my feelings. Like, I'm gonna bring it to your attention, and I'm gonna ask, like, am I projecting? Am I not projecting? Is this something we can change? Is this something we cannot change? Like, if anything, I need to stop bringing it to people's attention because I do it too much and they're not my therapist. You hide things, not me. Yet, that's an example of something that was always thrown into my face. Like, I don't talk about my feelings enough, or I don't talk about what's wrong with me enough. You never, like, you literally never did it. Never. And you admitted this. Like, and that's where it comes into the fact that they literally said, or rather they gave off the affect that they were going above and beyond for like simple shit I was asking them to do, like text me back. They literally would say things like, and I don't feel like appreciated by you, or like, I don't feel like you appreciate how much I do. And I'm like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If this is a relationship, again, this is not a committed relationship to you, but like it's acting like one. So I'm asking you to do the things that you said that you, like, they would agree to things, they would understand what I'm asking for, and then they wouldn't do them, and then I would ask for them, and then it's just like, you're not going, I don't know.